episode of Financial Freeway. My name is Dave. I'm the man rocking the Ray-Bans, and today we got a beautiful, gorgeous fall afternoon, and we still got some sunlight out, so I can still rock the Ray-Bans a tad bit longer and still be a responsible driver. Today is Friday. Just finished up the week, and it's actually Black Friday, which is a huge shopping day for everyone. And you know, when I was a child, I always asked the question, why did they call it Black Friday? I never understood it. But someone explained to me is that the retailers of the time would lose money all year long, and this was the day that everything after this day was profit, which put them in the black. That's why they call it Black Friday, which is a much better reason than what I thought in my head. So it's a very positive thing. People making money. Love it. Couple things I want to talk about today. Number one, I think the funniest thing I've experienced recently is people's inability at their own expense, and actually no, not at their own expense, at my expense, to make the leap. These little simple things where I say to someone, here, I need you, we're gonna make some cookies, and we have no ingredients, but could you please go to the store and get me eggs, sugar, and chocolate chips? And they come back without flour. And they say, well, you never said to get flour. And it's like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I did not say to get flour. But it would have been cool if you remembered the whole conversation about how I said we have none of the ingredients and made the leap. Now that's a bit of a big ask. But recently I had asked someone to do something for me, to ask about finding a volunteer to manage the sound for an event that's coming up. And he comes back to me and he was really, really upset the next day, saying, you know, you didn't tell me whose sound system we were using or what how this was supposed to work. And I repeated to him, I said, that's why I asked you to find someone to manage the sound, someone to find it and take it over and deal with all the issues regarding sound. And he came back and he asked the same question, yeah, but what sound system? Now, we went through this dance around the park a few times, and it really impressed upon me that if you're a successful person, you have the ability to fill in those blanks and to make the leap and figure out and do the math. And one of the great ways to exercise this part of the brain, to be able to see things that aren't actually laid out in front of you clearly, and actually to be able to build that little tiny of a logical bridge to where the answers may be, is Sudoku. Sudoku is a great game to practice this exercise with your mind. Because in order for you, and that's if you're not cheating and using a pencil, if you're doing it with a pen, you'll be able to look and see, okay, I need to know what's going to fit in the square, but you need to know other things before you find that answer out. And sometimes you need to go back 3 or 4 degrees to get to that answer. And that is what is missing in a lot of people, surprisingly. And I just want to tell a quick story about years ago. I was working on the Navy base, and we didn't have cell phones. We had pagers. So if you wanted to get a hold of someone, you would page them. So you go to the phone, you dial their number, and you would dial in the digits for your phone number. They would get the page, they would get the digits, and they would call that phone number where you would be sitting waiting for them to call you. On the base at the time, every phone number was a 5-digit phone number. And every single phone number started with the number 3. And I was fairly new. I'd only been working there about a year. And I paged this guy. And I was, okay, for instance, say I was at telephone number 1234. So the number for it would be 31234. But if I was at another phone in the base, it would always start with 3 and another different 4 digits. I sent him a page, and I only sent him the 4 digits 1234. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And there was no answer. There was no reply. So I finally met up with this guy, and I said, hey, what happened? I paged you, and you never responded. And he says, oh, was that you? Because somebody paged me these 4 digits, and I don't know what that means, because that's not a proper phone number. And it bothered me because I was thinking, you know, let's just do this crazy exercise. Every number on the base starts with 3. We have the 4 unique identifying numbers of a unique individual phone number, phone booth. Let's just take the wild leap that it might be a 3 that starts it, and maybe, just crazily enough, drop that number 3 on before you do it. Maybe that would work. That's what successful people would do. People would look at it and go, well, he must mean this. Even if it makes a mistake, even if it's an error, it must mean this. And so you would go ahead and you would fill in the blanks and take a stab. And if it's wrong, well, then now you have a reason to go back and say, hey, you gave me the wrong information. But taking that extra leap, years and years ago, I was taking my business administration course in college, and one of the courses talked about discovering where the problems lie in any situation. And the employee will look at a problem and say, I can't do my job because I don't have the right tool. And that would be good enough for the employee. But it's not good enough for the administration. Management needs to go 5 levels deep. So you always have to ask another question, why? Why does he not have the tools? Why are the tools not where they need to be? Who's in charge of the tools? What do we need to get the tools? How do we get this guy back on those tools? So you ask those extra questions. That's the job of management. And that's why you have successful people in the C-suite, and you have people saying, hey, you didn't give me all 5 digits of the phone number. How am I supposed to figure out what number you're calling from? Kind of attitudes. So I think it's really important to exercise that part of the brain. Sudoku is a great way to do it. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, and this is really exciting, it looks like we're starting to get some movement in the real estate market here in Vancouver Island, which means we have some properties that are opening up. This was predicted to happen because of the higher interest rates. People overextending themselves with mortgages that they were just barely able to afford at a low interest rate. Well, now while interest rates are going up higher, and people might have had a variable interest rate on a property, now they're starting to offload these properties to get rid of them, to get out from underneath this debt that they no longer can manage. So I was looking, and I found some places just outside of Victoria, houses, single detached houses, 5-bedroom, for $549,000. That is a big win if you're trying to get into the real estate game, because the minimum you need for that, if you could get the right price, you probably could get it in at $500,000, and the minimum down payment for that was going to be $25,000. If you are working minimum wage, you'll be able to put that away in just over a year if you're living at home. So now is the time. If you can get into get someone to take care of you, like your mom or a partner, or maybe you've got just a really good friend who will back you up and take care of you. Work for free. Make sure that guy never has a dirty dish, and make sure the lawn is always mowed. You live there, you work your ass off for 1 year. You do the day job for minimum wage, then you go hustle at bartending or being a waitress at night, making those tips, raking that bucks in, throwing it into an RSP. You guys in 1 year will be able to afford these houses. They're starting to come up now, so act, don't wait. I heard recently, if you need to be successful, if you want to be successful, you got to use momentum, because rockets don't take a pause on their way out of Earth's gravitational pull. They just keep going, and that's what you got to do. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Check out our website, financialfreeway23.ca, financialfreeway23.ca. That's where all the resources are. That's where you can basically find everything out about us there. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, hit the thumbs up, and above all, make sure you share, because we want to get the word out. That's our mission, is to help people and show that everyone has an inalienable right to live a life of financial abundance. Thanks so much. God bless.